Republicans rule the day in Florida.
We've done this for over 200 years, and after these campaigns, we come together. And that's what we're going to do.
Thank you, Florida, for your support.
Including a governor with ties to Tampa Bay.
Pinellas County is near and dear to my heart, and I think that they basically have a hometown guy as governor, so I think that's a good thing for the area.
But not so fast.
Change is coming to America.
In Washington, D.C., a shift in the balance of Congress.
A Democratic Congress will work for solutions that bring us together, because we have all had enough of division.
News Channel 8 is your local election headquarters. Our coverage on the election impact begins now.
Well, good morning and welcome to News Channel 8 today. I'm Gail Guayardo.
And I'm Marco Villarreal, and News Channel 8 is your local election headquarters. And to kick things off, we want to touch on two of Florida's tightest races last night.
And that includes the race for U.S. Senate between Governor Rick Scott and incumbent Bill Nelson. Governor Scott is declaring victory in that race. Nelson, meanwhile, has not conceded. And right now, the race is too close to call.
But Democrat Andrew Gillum did concede to Ron DeSantis after a very close run.
And we're going to have more election results in just a bit. But first, let's get a quick look at the weather. Good morning, Lee.
Good morning. After a late night for many people, it is a mild start to your Wednesday. Max defender rate is dry, but there's just a little bit of fog, and it's starting to get a little bit more widespread in Polk County. So watch out Winter Haven, Bartow, Haines City, even into Plant City, portions of Hillsborough County. It's not super widespread over the entire community, but Polk County, you're seeing a good amount of it. Right now, temperatures are running above average, 65 Zephyr Hills, 67 Apollo Beach. It is a little cooler than yesterday, though. Tampa, you're about 2 degrees cooler. Front to our north, so throughout the day, patchy clouds, near record heat, but I only have a 10% rain chance in. And when I say near record heat, I'm forecasting 87. The record is just 88. So it's 6:08. I'll take you hour by hour through this Wednesday.
All right, thank you so much, Lee. Well, News Channel 8 is your local election headquarters, and we're waking up this morning with an idea of what the future will look like here in Florida and around the country.
And this morning we have team coverage. Avery Cotton has more on Democrats taking back the U.S. House, but here in Florida, the day went to the GOP. Ryan Hughes live in Tampa with one of the tightest races, and still a lot of questions about this. Ryan.
Good morning to you both. Tight indeed. It's come down to around 38,000 votes, with Rick Scott, of course, claiming victory last night. But the margin is so close, within 0.4% of the vote, which means there will be an automatic recount in Florida for anything under 0.5% of the overall vote. Let's go to some video right now. The head-to-head battle between Scott and longtime U.S. Senator Bill Nelson was tough right until the end. Nelson, the state's senior U.S. Senator, first elected in 2000. He may be out of a job soon. Now, Scott, governor of Florida for 8 years, could jump into the national political scene. He vows to bring his business ideas to Washington. Scott spoke to his elated supporters from Naples in Southwest Florida, explaining how the voters of Florida denounced socialism. Listen here.
We are the envy of the world, and Florida is the envy of the United States. When you see all the success, it's shocking to see that people actually suggesting we embrace socialism.
Now, we didn't hear from Nelson last night. Instead, we got a statement from his campaign early this morning. It says, in part, based on numerous media reports, the U.S. Senate race has been called for Rick Scott. This obviously is not the result Senator Nelson and his campaign had worked so hard for. Now, Nelson did not speak yesterday. We're told he may give some sort of statement later today, perhaps this morning, and no apparent concession call to Governor Scott either. So we'll be waiting for that, too. Back to you.
Yeah, still kind of up in the air until that actually comes through. All right, Ryan, thank you.
Well, at 6:04, the other extremely tight race here in Florida, the fight for governor. It was a close call all night, ending with Democrat Andrew Gillum conceding to his Republican opponent, Ron DeSantis. Our Melanie Michael was at DeSantis' victory party in Orlando and spoke with him about his big win and his ties to Tampa Bay.
Hey there, my goodness, what a night it was. Ron DeSantis is the winner, the new governor-elect here in the state of Florida. And in true Florida style, this election went right down to the wire and got kind of squirrely at the end as the numbers got really, really close. This was one of the toughest races really in the country and one of the tightest margins. Andrew Gillum, the mayor of Tallahassee, the Democratic candidate for governor, losing the race. And Ron DeSantis tonight, the former congressman, very excited to get started as the governor here in the state. We asked him about his ties to Tampa Bay. You know, he's a Dunedin native. Dunedin High School is where he graduated from. And here's what he had to say when we had a chance to talk to him one-on-one.
It's a great place to be from. No one would have predicted that I would be, governor. I graduated in 1997. So what is that, 21 years later? Here we are. So, but, Pinellas County is near and dear to my heart, and I think that they basically have a hometown guy as governor. So I think that's a good thing for the area.
And, last night was very intense. It started off as some really nervous moments for the Republicans here in Orlando at the Rosen Center as supporters gathered to cheer on Ron DeSantis. And as the night went on and those numbers tightened and the margins closed, well, we saw the numbers get really, really close, and the supporters became very excited, cautiously optimistic, and then in the end, so very excited to see their candidate, Ron DeSantis, the former congressman, now the governor-elect here in Florida. A tiring night, one that went right down to the wire. It was a nail-biter, but this morning we know that Ron DeSantis is waking up very excited, no doubt, to get started here on a lot of work to do in the Sunshine State. I'm Melanie Michael in Orlando, News Channel 8.
All right. Thank you, Melanie. Well, DeSantis' Democratic competitor, Andrew Gillum, did not go down without a fight. The race remained close for the entire evening until finally, with most of the votes counted, Gillum called DeSantis to concede. Then he turned to his supporters, assuring them this is not the end.
I want you to know that every step of this way, even though I won't have the blessing of serving as the next governor of the state of Florida, I still plan to be on the front lines right alongside every single one of you when it comes to standing up for what it is that we believe in.
Florida's governor's race was one of the most closely followed contests of the midterm, with both President Trump and national Democrats highly invested in the outcome.
Republicans will also keep the Florida Attorney General seat. Ashley Moody, who's from the Bay Area, will take over for Pam Bondi. Ashley Moody defeated Democratic State Senator Sean Shaw, 53% to 47%. Moody's a former judge and federal prosecutor. And all 12 Florida constitutional amendments but one passed last night, and one of the most anticipated, Amendment 4.
That's right. It restores voting rights to felons except murderers and sex offenders once they fully complete their sentences. News Channel 8's political anchor Evan Donovan spoke to a clemency expert about what happens next.
There was a question before when you're registering to vote about whether you're a felon. Now, is the question going to change?
I think it's going to have to change. I think the registration form will have to change. Now the question will change from, are you a convicted felon, which is all that was required to disenfranchise you up until tonight. Now the question would have to be, have you been convicted of murder or any sexual felony? If you say yes to that question, well, then you're still disenfranchised. If you say no to that question, it doesn't matter if you've been convicted of 10 other felonies that aren't those two things. It doesn't matter. You'll be allowed to register to vote.
And again, News Channel 8 is your local election headquarters. You can get all your election results online at WFLA.com. Also, stay right here for the latest on the big races still being counted across the nation. And we're also going to have results scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
All right, the time right now is 6:08. Let's turn things over to Lee Spann.
Yeah, good morning. I've been using this camera at the Florida Polytechnic University to really give us a good gauge of the fog that is thickening, because you would normally see that very iconic building at the Florida Polytechnic University along I-4, but it is now obscured in the fog. So if you're anywhere along I-4 in Polk or eastern Hillsborough County, be careful. That fog is getting more widespread throughout most of Polk County at the moment. It won't last long because the sun comes up so early. It'll start burning off. And we already get to 80 by 10 a.m., which, by the way, is the average high temperature. And then we go up to 84 at noon and 87 at 3 p.m. Throughout the afternoon, there's a 10% rain chance. But we'll be near record highs today, tomorrow, and really on into Friday before Saturday's cold front brings a couple of showers, just not much cooler air. It's Tuesday's front, more rain and cooler air. So our rain chances today, tomorrow, and Friday, just 10%, 20% Saturday. Meredith, how about traffic? I'm also seeing that fog along portions of the I-4 corridor in Polk County. That's a live view there near US 98. Moving you into Pinellas County, overturned vehicle on the 9th Street North ramp to I-275 northbound. It's not blocking anything at this point, but I keep an eye on it because I'm sure we'll see additional units, at the very least a tow truck arriving on scene, so that may change. Marco Gale, back to you.
The Tampa Bay Heart Walk is this Saturday, November 10th at Raymond James Stadium, and you still have time to get involved with us. This year, Kane's Furniture will match the first $50,000 we raise. We hope you'll take a moment and join our team and donate. You can text WFLA 18 to 41444 or just go to WFLA.com/heartwalk to sign up. We'll see you out there early Saturday morning.
It's gonna be a good day.
Yeah. Well, the Dems fell short in Florida last night, but they still got a big victory.
Coming up, the control that they took back for the first time in 8 years. Plus, turning a traditional ice cream sandwich into something special. Coming up, we're gonna tempt your sweet tooth at a Tampa Bay hotspot you don't want to miss. It's 6:10.
News Channel 8 is your local election headquarters, and now our team coverage continues on the races that impact you.
And in Washington, the Democrats are going to take back the U.S. House. Avery Cotton joins us with what this means. Avery.
Good morning, Marco. For the first time in 8 years, the Democrats are back on top in the House, which means President Trump will have to get used to a split in Washington. And if you stayed up to watch last night, you might think the midterms had that same feel as the last presidential election, especially when we talk about the attention it received and the turnout. This morning, Democrats are celebrating that power shift after taking back control of the House in a dramatic midterm showdown. Democrats lost hope of seizing the Senate after North Dakota's Heidi Heitkamp was unseated by Kevin Cramer, and Missouri's Claire McCaskill lost to Josh Hawley. President Trump not on the ballot, of course. However, exit polls show he was a major factor for at least 2/3 of voters of both parties. So what will Washington look like with Democrats gaining some power back? Well, they'll have more room to exercise oversight of the Trump administration and could launch committee investigation probing things like his finances. First things first, though, both parties set to make important leadership decisions in the House. Nancy Pelosi plans to run for House Speaker, but there have been rumblings of challenges within the Democratic caucus. And House Republicans are losing Paul Ryan, who declined to seek re-election this year. As for Republicans, they will retain control of the Senate after Ted Cruz held off challenger Beto O'Rourke in Texas. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Avery. And for a look at results from the other amendments and other races, just head to WFLA.com. We have a section with all of the election results.
And we've all seen those tall buildings that make up most downtown skylines, but most of us have not been able to get to the top of them. This morning, our own Rod Carter has a preview of his special report on life at the top.
We see those downtown high-rises all the time, but have you ever stopped and asked yourself, who's at the top? Yeah, I did too. On the 38th floor of One City Center, it's the Historic University Club.
People will call or email and say just that question, who's at the top of the building, who lives up there? A lot of people think that it might be an apartment or condominium space.
See Life at the Top tonight at 11.
Well, guess what? You like cookies. You like ice cream.
Yes.
All right, well, good thing, because there's a new cookie shop in town, and it's got this really cool concept.
Cookie ice cream?
Cookie ice cream.
Man, that's incredible. At Sweet Stack Shack, you can choose your cookie and ice cream flavor for a one-of-a-kind dessert. And Lila Gross is here now to show us how these frozen treats are made.
Good morning to you both. Most people like cookies and ice cream, and now you don't have to choose between the two. Sweet Stack Shack is helping you create an original dessert with both. Sweet Stack Shack is Florida's first and only custom-made ice cream sandwich shop. You can indulge in fresh-baked cookies and brownies filled with your favorite ice cream while you chill out in the cozy shack in the St. Pete Edge District. Here's how it works. You pick a cookie or brownie as your base and stuff it with one of the locally sourced ice cream flavors. Then choose from toppings like Fruity Pebbles, peanuts, M&Ms, and rainbow sprinkles. Your customized sandwich is warmed to a crisp just in time to dig in. Sweet Stack Shack has a gluten-free chocolate chip cookie and 2 lactose-free ice cream flavors, which even dogs can eat. And it comes at a great price. Your unique creation will only cost you around $5. As an added bonus, you can order anything a la carte and get a dozen of yesterday's cookies for just $5.
That's nice. I like that. Yeah, nothing wrong with yesterday's cookies, right?
And the good thing is the cookies are a little bit harder, so that you can make the ice cream sandwich with them, but they're still just as good the next day, and you get a dozen cookies for $5.
That's awesome.
I like it.
I'm in.
Yeah, I'm going to put that down on my place. It's a hot, cool spot.
Yeah, especially
in Tampa
record
Bay.
heat today, so you can still enjoy ice cream in
Nice.
November.
That edge district.
Yep, exactly. Here it is at 6:18. Now we look at max defender rate. We're not finding any rain. There is a front stalled to our north, and that's why we're continuing to see this warmer than average temperatures. I keep talking about the fog in Polk County, but it's not everywhere. I mean, look, it's completely clear at the Lakeland Auto Mall in Polk County. You're 70 degrees, though. Then we go to the Connerton community in Land O'Lakes, where it's also clear, 67 degrees. But again, there are spots with fog, and that includes Plant City, that includes Bartow, Haines City area, Winter Haven, Brandon. So just be aware as you travel, you could encounter some patchy dense fog. Otherwise, it's just really warm for this time of the year. Mid-70s this morning, mid-80s by noon, and 87 by 3 p.m. with just a 10% rain chance. Currently 70 in Plant City, where you do have some of that haze and fog. 68 Clearwater, 70 in Bradenton. My weather watcher Wendy in Brooksville checked in at 68 degrees. Technically, we're a couple of degrees cooler, 2 to 3 degrees cooler than yesterday, but still quite warm today and not a lot of rain. In fact, warm, basically dry conditions continue for tomorrow and near record highs again on Friday. But Saturday, 1 weak cold front comes through. Slightly cooler for Sunday. But we're all waiting on this long-range forecast, a stronger cold front increases our rain chances on Tuesday and really bringing in some of the coolest air we felt this season by the middle of next week. Also, don't forget, Saturday is the Heart Walk. Please join us early on Saturday morning at Raymond James Stadium, Meredith.
Yes, please do. So I'm watching an accident in St. Pete, 9th Street North ramp to northbound 275. You can see an overturned vehicle there. Road Ranger now on scene. Traffic is getting by. I will continue to keep an eye on that for you. In Tampa, still looking pretty good. Only minor delays now westbound I-4 in through the junction with 275. Hernando County, 1 lane is getting open. An earlier crash on the Suncoast Parkway. It's northbound past County Line Road. No significant delays there, so I don't think you need to detour at this point. Gail, Marco, back to you.
Well, a big movie franchise might be making a comeback.
Yes, the big green ogre you could soon see on a screen near you.
Plus, singing superstar Ariana Grande is adding a new title to her resume. Up next, the big honor she's getting. Right now at 6:20, you're watching News Channel 8 today.
So a big honor for Ariana Grande yesterday. The pop star was named Billboard's 2018 Woman of the Year. Past winners include Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga, and Madonna. She will receive the award on December 6th at Billboard's Women in Music event. Well, you probably haven't seen the last of your favorite ogre.
Variety reporting that Shrek franchise is getting a reboot. Pretty exciting. Chris Meledandri, the man behind Despicable Me, who now owns DreamWorks, wants to bring back the big green ogre with some fresh storylines. He also hopes to bring back the original stars, Mike Myers and Eddie Murphy, because really this franchise, it's like an onion. It's like an onion. You just got to peel back. It's in layers.
I can't get enough of it. It's one of my favorites.
Well, there's a popular Ybor restaurant. A lot of people know this place. It's calling it quits.
All new in our next half hour, find out which gathering place is closing its doors for good and why.
Plus, more and more women leaving traditional jobs to be their own boss.
I'll show you how they're doing it and how you can do it too.
First, nice live look. Look at this, lightening up outside in downtown Tampa, where it is 71 degrees on this Wednesday morning. We got your weather and traffic on the 8s coming up. Stay tuned.